And welcome to CBN4's Primetime News Package for today. I am a presenter, Aljan Christopher. Let's take a look at the headlines. The Forestry, Wildlife and Parks Division warns about bushfires as we enter the Kawem season. A new variety of cassava coming to Kalinago territory. And President Putin visits a mall victim memorial and blames criminal negligence. Stay tuned for these and other stories when CBN4's Primetime News returns. We'll be right back.
L'année sim tout partout. Attention si vous êtes homme et bien femme. Visitez place santé pour examiner corps. Ça c'est un nid pour yo ouais si l'année pièce moun au lion qui ni maladie TB et bien maladie sexuelle. En compagnie moun qui ni maladie HIV P ni TB aussi. Savent qui l'année guérison pour TB. Ou ça vivre en bonne santé même si ou ni maladie HIV. Parlez by docteur. Prends responsabilité. Aidez du bout de si maladie TB et HIV. Pour agir tout le monde pour examiner corps yo.
If you're HIV positive or have an STI, having unprotected sex with multiple partners puts them in grave danger. You will expose every partner and their present and future partners to HIV or another STI. Use a condom every time you have sex. You can live a productive life even if diagnosed with HIV. Remember, early detection is key to your survival. Be responsible, protect yourself and others. Help stop the spread of HIV and other STIs.
There are signs everywhere. Pay attention whether you're male.
And welcome back. The Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development, in collaboration with Israel Aid and UNICEF, launched a disaster preparedness program for all the schools on the island. Chief Education Officer Melina Fountain said 1 week ago the Ministry of Education launched the Safe School program and convened the inaugural meeting of the National Safe School Policy Community.
This program, which is supported by the Caribbean Emergency Management Agency, CBN4, will see us working at ministerial level on policy, capacity building in the area of disaster management, school assessments and action plans. However, today we are here for another launching along similar lines, but with a major difference. We are here to launch a critical phase of the Safe School program, one that is needed as we get nearer to the opening of another hurricane season. Today we launch the disaster preparedness program at school level. Hence the need for all principals of primary and secondary schools to be here. We are embarking on a journey to ensure that by the time school closes in July, all schools will have a basic school emergency operation plan that will help them to deal with disaster events identified by them and which will be based on the vulnerabilities within their school location.
Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, Honorable Peter Seja, noted that before the passage of Hurricane Maria, the Ministry of Education had actively sought to develop and implement disaster plans for all schools on the island. The minister said the ministry has had support in this venture from the Office of Disaster Management, while the Chief Education Officer, Ms. Melina Fountain, has been eager to get the program going at the schools.
Since Maria, however, we have seen enthusiastic support coming from friendly international organizations that mirrors our exact plans to increase the capacity of our schools to respond to emergency situations. Let me say that the Ministry of Education and the government of Dominica are immensely grateful for the quick response of our partners, UNICEF and Israel Aid, who came to our assistance in the immediate aftermath of the hurricane.
The Disaster Risk Management Project aims to build a culture of natural hazard risk education within the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development and within the education system in order to minimize potential damages to schools caused by natural hazards by strengthening capacity, preparedness, response, and recovery. The student and community-targeted program was developed by UNICEF and Israel Aid at the request of the Ministry of Education. The Forestry, Wildlife and Parks Division has advised the general public that we are now into the dry season, better known as Kawem. In this regard, the division asked the public that they should refrain from setting unnecessary and uncontrolled bushfires. Bushfires are extremely dangerous to human life and the environment, to our wildlife. It's already left fragile and vulnerable by the passage of hurricane. It is also important to remember that bushfires destroy native plants and create conditions for the introduction and rapid spread of invasive species. It can in the and conditions. Every effort made by citizens and residents alike to avoid or reduce the incidence of bushfires, the Forestry, Wildlife and Parks Divisions noted.
We're just doing some tidying up after the ladies did the raking and collecting there because of no transportation to dump it. At the same time, they collected it there. So now we have to pass and take it all away. So instead of throwing it away, we saw the use of the compost as it is rotten. So we're just collecting it to do our homegrown agriculture. You know, because after the hurricane we had to buy those things so expensive and so much of chemical. So we're doing it at our home, you know, manage it in our own way.
And the Ebenezer 7 climaxes for the Easter break. The Ebenezer 7 Charles Isles, as many of them are still in dire conditions.
Moving here, there and everywhere for school, we decided today to just have them have fun, just their own free time. And so we came to this place because it is recovering nicely, and as you can see, they are everywhere running and just freeing up themselves. Yeah.
What expected SDA Primary is coming to school on an afternoon shift.
Hope. Tuberculosis can be. Yes, you can. HIV. Get tested.
Se vermine là, moun ki pa ni bon akon bien sensible pour ces maladies ça. Il faut prendre précaution les yo
The National Youth Council announced that its General School auditorium youth organizations expected to participate. The NYCD General Assembly was previously carded for In 2015, a new NYCD Executive Board was elected to manage the work of the Council from August 2015 to August 2017. Since then, the board has rallied a movement of youth to develop and implement an executive agenda, institutional strengthening strategy, work plan, and numerous projects at the Section 1 of the National Youth Council's report and Treasurer's report and election of a new executive board to which shall serve for a 2-year period. And Julian Defoe, the acting senior fisheries officer, admits that resilience is needed within the fishing industry. However, he claims that he is not as concerned about the restoration of the natural resource from which the fishers provide compared to constructing stronger infrastructure and developing and implementing better methods and policies within the fishing industry. According to Defoe, the environment knows how to care for itself.
The environment is always a natural thing. The ability for the resources to bounce back, the ability for the reef ecosystem to repair itself. So sometimes there is little human intervention that is required for this thing, because these for all our existence we have had natural phenomena and bounce back. So afraid there are interventions that man can do, such as coral restoration and so on, but naturally the environment takes care of itself. Of infrastructure that we build going forward.
Defoe laments that greater emphasis should be placed on building back stronger infrastructures.
Down flat to the ground. So, I mean, we have to be advised technically. We fisheries division people are not engineers. However, going forward with resilience in mind, we have to, and wherever we're getting funding, assistance, on the or local planning departments on forward, and I assume that they will have the standards in place that the donors or people who are doing this is
Foreign Affairs of the new residents of the Kalinago territory have been growing cassava for generations, traditionally the beta variety of cassava.
Unsuccessfully in Jamaica, and much of the and technicians will be undertaken in Jamaica. The hope is that the Kalinago experience will be used for the introduction of the new variety throughout the island. In fact, we've agreed that the persons from Jamaica who have successfully worked in the cassava industry can come to Dominica to share their experiences, to share what they have learned, and to share the do's and the don'ts in relation to cassava production. And we expect to benefit greatly from that experience.
The foreign minister further stated that the government of Dominica have also discussed cooperation with Colombia in the establishment of a cassava processing
upgrade cassava processing capacity in the territory. They export not only of farine and cassava bread, but also of cassava flour, cassava mash, and other products. Discussion with our
Colombia's Foreign Minister, Her Excellency Maria Angela Holguin Coelho, indicated that one of the goals is to have the persons from Jamaica who works in cassava production to come to Dominica to see how our cassava production is working and how we can improve on it. And Hurricane Maria is rebuilding and in fact is building back better. The Nature Isle is on the way to becoming the first climate resilient nation of the climate era change, and did you say them by assisting with the humanitarian relief efforts and providing the technical and operational support necessary to achieve this goal. On the mobile front, service has been returned to approximately 80% of the population, and Digicel's technical team continues to work tirelessly towards full connectivity. The areas already with service consist of some key constituencies such as the capital, Mahu, and more recently Castlebruce. Digicel has also prioritized humanitarian aid on the Dominica. Dennis O'Brien, stay tuned, we'll be back with more.
Pour ces noms et bien femmes, visitez Place Santé where si la ni pièce moun au Lyon qui ni aditi TB HIV pour agir tout le monde pour examiner corps.
Come back to news from the region. The Caribbean Development Bank (CDB) will provide a grant of $900 feasibility and design study for the development and Caloran agriculture is being funded through a grant from the United Kingdom Caribbean Infrastructure Partnership Fund, which is being administered by CDB. The feasibility study will establish for an agriculture project, including an irrigation system and associated production and marketing systems. For the agriculture sector in Jamaica include irregular rainfall and an increase in the frequency of droughts. And from around the world, Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday said criminal negligence was to blame for a Siberian fire that killed at least 64 people, 41 children, after they found the inferno because of locked doors. A criminal probe has been opened and 5 people have been arrested over Sunday's blaze, which raged through the busy shopping center in the industrial city of Siberia. 2 days after the tragedy, Putin visited a makeshift memorial of stuffed toys and flowers in the Kemerovo, saying he felt like wailing over the number of victims in one of the deadliest fires recorded in Russia over the past century. Investigators said the victims and dozens of animals were burnt alive or suffocated because of emergency exits were locked, notably at the multiplex cinema where children were watching cartoons. And that takes us to the end of today's Primetime News package. On behalf of the entire CBN4 team, I am Alan Christopher saying thank you for watching and do have a good day.